Hello everyone, and welcome to Showa Station, Season 2, Episode 2, using the rules by Modifius Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and I am joined by a lovely group of individuals who we'll just get to know in a moment. Really, the only announcement I have is that I know we are kind of doing the 1 week on, 1 week off, but my hope is back in March, we will be back on a weekly schedule for the most part. But again, tech and health willing, we'll just sort of see what happens. But other than that, the only thing I would like to say is that I'm excited to be back, and I'm just really eager to play. So let's get introductions out of the way. So, Lone Squiff, what do you got going on, buddy?
Hello, everybody. I'm Mal, Lone Squiff on Discord, and tonight I'll be playing Lieutenant Nimanor Takaldi, the overenthusiastic Draenei science officer who's eager to prove herself.
All right. Cad, what do you got going on?
Hello, I'm Cad Baneshead, also Alex. I am the very thrown into command of Showa Station, Sean Callahan.
Very nice. And sporting a new avatar for tonight, Rockette.
Yes, I didn't want to be left behind seeing all that ELH always has going on. But yes, I am Rocket Fox. You can find me in all the places. Just look me up and I will be there. Hopefully not doing this weird thing with my eyes though. But yeah, as far as tonight goes, I am Shishi, who, believe it or not, is actually a Cation, which is a cat person. I did my best. And yeah, she's the security chief officer.
Maybe a little bit of Vulpine DNA got mixed in somewhere in the family line.
You know how these things go.
Yeah. And certainly last but not least, Ars Animus, what do you got going on?
Hi, Aris Animus, Katie Cody. I play Lieutenant Commander Vakoya, the Chief Engineer of Showa Station.
All right, well, let's get that intro video going. And welcome back. So something we like doing here on the channel for all our Star Trek adventures is having the players do an opening log, and I believe that falls to Lieutenant Commander Vokaya tonight, so if you would take that away.
Definitely. As my cat just jumps up behind me and steals half my chair. All right. Log notes, stardate 0789.2. The USS Touchstone, a Walker class, is headed for the station for repairs after running afoul of an anomaly that destroyed a third of her saucer. The challenge at hand brings up memories of working in the shipyards of Corridan before joining the rebels. Having dealt with the wreckage repairs of Vulcan, Orion, and every other craft in between, yet somehow nothing seems as finicky as putting a Federation vessel back together. With that said, I trust my engineering crew is up to the task. The Rigvon left Showa Station about 4 days ago. While I would have loved to have more time to delve into their Kelbonite ship and how they seamlessly managed to merge minerals and machine, my arms were getting a little tired trying to talk to them. And the work on the station goes ever on. End log.
Very nice. You may have one momentum for that opening log. We begin today's session in Ops, where we have Vokaya. Actually, we just basically have everybody to make it easy. We have everybody in the operations room as you're watching the Touchstone come in to the station. Now, The Walker class is basically what the Drake looks like, or the USS Walker, or what is it, the Shenzhou? Is it the Shenzhou in Discovery? Either way, the Walker class is a prolific vessel of this time period, and notably, the one coming into the station has a big old hole bored through the center of the saucer section. In fact, the only reason it didn't completely take out the bridge is because it was just slightly to the left and angled at about a 20-degree angle. So if it had been a little bit less steep and it had just been a little bit more to the right, there would be no bridge. There would be no ship remaining, kind of a thing. But as you're all kind of looking at it coming in, traffic control puts a hand to their ear and goes, coming in loud and clear, Captain Tevin, and then to you all. Captain Tevin is asking for a word, if that's all right. Should I put them through?
On screen.
Appearing on screen is a Vulcan captain. The bridge looks like it is an absolute mess. There's regulation rocks everywhere, spark patterns on the walls, burn marks, the whole 9 yards. But Captain Devin looks prim and proper, no stains on his uniform, not even a smidge on his perfect face, kind of a thing. But Devin just kind of quirks an eyebrow at all of you and says, "Well, it is a pleasure to finally meet the enigmatic members of Showa Station. I trust that the repairs will take a fair amount of time."
I will glance over to Vakaya. I'm like, Commander, what is your assessment of the damages?
Out of character, I'm guessing this would take would I say weeks?
Weeks.
Right? Yeah. Back in character. Callahan, fair would be an understatement. I'd say we're looking at weeks of repair with all crews working on this.
Well, Captain, looks like you will be our illustrious guest for a few weeks.
Very well. I do have a question, and it is of a personal nature, and he kind of leans in a little bit. I understand you have something called a fun, happy, fun time place or something along those lines. Is that correct?
Oh, don't you worry, Captain. We will get you well acquainted.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because I've heard whisperings of a Federation-style bowling league popping up on your station. Are those rumors any substantiated?
I'm going to glance over to Shishista and be like, you should see what my first officer can do on those nights.
Yes, I have heard about tales of the bowling league from a certain captain. But yes,
was he complaining that he lost again?
Oh yes, he is absolutely furious that he has once again lost. But yes, my pilot is telling me we'll be docked with your station in the next 10 to 20 minutes, and we will be in touch shortly.
All right, we will be waiting for you at the dock.
And then he gives you the live long and prosper gesture, and the screen goes dark.
Well, if their ship is any indication, he's going to be a terrible bowler.
I mean, the other ship was actually pretty good, and he can't bowl. So I wonder if opposites are true.
Perhaps golf is more his game. Yes, he did get a hole in one. Hey, good night. I'll be here.
As we all just sit there staring at the lieutenant, and like, all right, command staff, let's go meet our new guests.
Goes and pushes the sensor button.
Hey, you also got a momentum from chat, but you also had a complication from chat, and I'm going to spend that complication immediately. That as you all hop into the turbo lift and you're about halfway down to the docking ring, suddenly the station rocks, it goes to red alert, and the turbo lift halts midway between floors.
Bukaya,
Commander?
any idea what may be going on here?
No, as much information as you. And she touches. Is there a comm panel inside the? I'm guessing, hey.
There is, yes.
Yeah, touches the comm panel. Vakoya Ops report.
And instead of getting ops, you get 1920s elevator music.
Kind of look back at Shishi.
I don't like it. I don't know what's happening, but I don't like it.
This is very almost ancient Earth music.
Yeah.
I agree.
I turn off the comms. Vakoya to engineering.
This time you get 1970s rock and roll.
This is better.
What did all of our different stations turn into a radio or something? What's happening here?
I have
Or
a
down a
feeling
radio
something bad has happened.
Hmm.
We haven't lost gravity, which I'd feel more happy if we had.
Well, now you've mentioned it.
Oh, the complication from Jet.
No, I just spent it to do the elevator music and rock. So,
As soon as the turbo lift stopped, and they're talking about the panel, Nora's just pulling out her tricorder and starting to do a scan. Not for anything particular, but yeah, just to see if there's something, maybe with the turbo lift system itself that she could pick up or some kind of anomaly.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and give me a reason and a science? Difficulty of, let's make it a 2 on this one.
Did you
And
say that sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you say that we entered the turbo lift and then felt it shake? Is that what?
Yes, the entire
Okay.
station and the turbo lift shook,
Oh, the
and
station.
you got
Okay.
stopped between floors, kind of a thing.
Gotcha. Clarity. Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was just us feeling it in the lift or if it was the station itself.
Yeah, quite all right, quite all right. That is 3 successes, bringing you up to 3 momentum. And remember, as science officer, you do get a free question. But what your immediate information tells you is that there is a surge of chronoton particles that pass through the station. Now, for those who don't remember what chronotons do, those are basically the time particles that do fun things in Star Trek. But the good news is that the chronotons seem to have passed. The chronoton wave, I guess you could call it, has already gone out of the station and into surrounding space.
And it is what, the Tholians who hate these things again? Well, this is fun. First goal, let's get out of here. Bakaya, are we going to be able to open the doors, or can we manually rip them open?
We still have power, so we should be able to still open the doors if we're not stuck in between floors.
Let's try opening the doors, seeing as how the comms don't want to work.
Did your scan show if we were stuck in between floors?
Yes, according to these readings, yes, and she'll then go on to explain about the anomaly. Now, for her question, Elle, since you mentioned we were able to determine that it had passed and had gone off into space, was she able to determine where it originated from?
Yes, it came from the USS Touchstone.
So I thought. Okay.
Oh, right.
So it would seem that the touchstone, whatever spatial anomaly it encountered, perhaps it was the same one that damaged it, but it is definitely what gave off a chronoton pulse. It seems to have not only hit the station, but has passed on. And she kind of does this motion.
Has it completely passed us, or are we still in a field? And I will hit the comms thing. I wonder what era we're at now.
Well, this time you get ops, and the frantic comms officer is, Sir Callahan, are you reading me, sir?
Say, we're here, loud and clear.
Okay, good. We were worried we'd lost you in the turbolift there. I don't really know how to explain what we're seeing here, sir, but you really need to come back up to ops as soon as possible.
And say, sounds good. Can you get the turbolifts working?
Unfortunately, I'm seeing that all turbolift systems are down. Can you get out, sir, or should I send a work crew?
Say, if you don't hear from us in the next 2 minutes, send a work crew.
Aye,
If
sir.
not, I'll be back up to ops. I will be sending Commander Shishista and Lieutenant DeCaldi to meet our guests, and Bakaya, please head down to engineering. We'll have a lot of work to do.
About that, sir, our guests have changed.
Changed how?
Well,
Shishisa just like kind of leans over.
Yeah, less aggressively, but changed how.
Well, sir, I don't know really how to explain it, but there's a different ship out there now, and it's different. It's still a Starfleet ship, but it's different.
Can you stop beating around the bush and tell us what's going on?
Honestly, sir, I'm looking at a ship that I've never seen the class before. I've never seen the registry, but the computers say that the code is Starfleet.
Okay. And say, we'll be out, again, 2 minutes. If you don't hear from us saying we're out, send a team. And I'll ping off the comms. All right, new plan. Once we get out, Shishista, you quarantine everyone on that ship.
Understood.
All right, now, Vakaya, can you open the door?
It's not docked with us yet, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Vakaya, can you get the door open so we can try to get to at least one floor?
Definitely. And are there, at this time, I'm guessing there's manual, like, actuators?
Yep, and to get you some momentum here, just give me a fitness and engineering difficulty of 1, and you can pop that door right open.
Let's see, fitness, engineering. Probably not any focuses. Would only fitness focuses make sense, or would engineering focuses help me here?
Both would apply.
Excellent. Doesn't hurt to ask, right?
All right, well, 3 successes brings you up to 5 momentum. And yeah, Volkaya, you pull off a panel next to the doors, you pull the lever, you open up the doors very easily, and you are all able to get out onto Deck 4. Now, Deck 4 is not quite on the promenade, but it still kind of has the officer's lounge nearby that you could rush to look out of the station, get to a computer console, etc. And when you do, that's not a Walker class outside anymore. That is a Nova class. Now, for those who don't know what a Nova class is, a Nova class is the same from Voyager, the Equinox. It's kind of this little flying sensor platform, more or less, with just a tiny little saucer, fits about 50 people, but it is definitely of a era that is not of this game. This game is 2196. That is a 2375-76 vessel.
Question. So I see in the future we just don't care about time travel anymore.
Sorry, could you repeat those dates for me?
Yes, so current date in universe is 2196. The ship, the Nova class, I believe, actually starts coming around 2369, 2372. But you would notice, or you could carbonate it very easily as being 2376.
But like, ops having that on visual would like, they do have it on visual, right?
Yes.
Because they've been seeing it change.
Yes.
So I'm guessing, yeah, okay, but we don't see that. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, the only thing you see is this Nova class vessel. You see no sign of the Walker class anywhere.
Like ops does, but I'm guessing, still making our way up there, right?
Well, you're looking out of the windows of a officer's lounge kind of a thing. Yeah,
I gotcha. Okay, question. So not so much question, actually. For Rokoya, since she's used to being around ships, like a lot of ships, building ships in and out, she definitely like stops by the window and looks quite concerned at Callahan and says, "I've never seen any tech like this before."
All right. Contact whoever's your next senior in engineering, get them on all the repairs, get to ops with us as soon as possible. Do not let that ship dock.
Definitely.
Now, one thing I'm going to tell you a little bit more is that the last time you look out the window before continuing on, there's a hole in the Nova saucer section too. It's on the right side of the saucer at the opposite 20-degree angle from what the touchstone had.
All right.
And it looks like does it look like a mechanical tear, like a ship tear, like a crash, or does it look like weapons tear.
I would say it looks like probably an energy discharge or an energy lance is what went through the hole here.
All right. As we start going back to ops on there, I'll be like, Lieutenant, Commander, what are your thoughts?
Was there a comma there?
Lieutenant?
Are you asking all of us or one of us? What are you saying?
Say, Lieutenant,
Okay.
Commander, the two
Oh.
of you.
Listen, I
The
would
two
need a
haven't
little more
spoken in a little bit.
clarification.
What is your opinion on what's going on?
Well, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know where it's come from. And apparently it's Starfleet, but I would imagine we would have been notified of anything of this class. Even if we are a little bit out here.
On a scale to me without coffee and Ferengi, where do you not like them?
Well, I would say maybe a little closer to the Ferengi, but not much.
Okay.
I mean, they can't pretend to have the correct credentials to be with Starfleet, so clearly they are. I just don't like it. I don't like.
But you would be
things
the
like
first
this.
person to assume that they might be forging something.
Yes, but it is tremendously difficult to forge this sort of thing. And anyway, we did get hit with something weird back there.
That we did. How sciencey does this feel, Lieutenant? Or how science fiction are we in?
Yeah, Nora's kind of like ignoring the conversation going on. She just kind of holds a hand up. It's like shh, and she's going over the sensor readings and wants to
do. Are you talking to me? Are you addressing me?
She was addressing when Callahan had called her, and she wants to do an extensive scan now that she has access to the ship's the station sensors rather. And make sure that that field is gone, and wants to get some readings on that Nova Class 2.
Okay. So I'm just going to give you your free question because you already had the 5 momentum. So what free question do you want? And then you can buy more questions with momentum.
Okay. So we were able to date it, you said.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time. Based on the readings that we previously had from the touchstone, are we able to determine if the hold in this ship was done by the same type of anomaly, weapon, etc.? Or does it look completely different?
I would say that it is a mirrored copy, as if the same energy source bounced off something and ricocheted at a almost unique angle.
Okay.
Would we be able to hail it again?
Yeah, if you want to hail it, go for it.
Yeah, let's hail it.
Okay. So by the time you arrive in Ops and you hail it, appearing on screen is this time a Tellarite. And, Tellarite does not look pleased. And, he kind of looks a little bit less than Wham because, Wham on the station has beef with Shashista. But even, Weak Ass also kind of one of those ornery Tellarites. But this one really takes the cake when it comes to pissed off Tellarites. And he just kind of squints his eyes at you on the view screen and goes, "What in the world are you? What are you doing? Why are we here?"
Well, that's a bold question.
Commander, say, my name is Commander Callahan, Captain of the Showa Station. Who am I addressing?
You are addressing the Captain Taffarel of the USS Kurosawa.
And say, well, you used to be having the spot of one of our ships. The year is currently 2192, Captain. I think we've had some shenanigans. 96. Thank you.
You say it's 2196. Do you take this for a joke? Computer and program. And he looks around. Computer Arch. Okay, so we're not on a holodeck, or this is a really good... Or what are you pranking me again? He goes over to one of his officers on the console behind him and starts badgering him like, is this a joke? Because if this is a joke, I will find you in your sleep and I will strangle you so hard.
She
Captain?
quietly to Callahan. Well, something here is a joke.
And say, and that joke is your command style.
Oh, I'm
berating
sorry.
your
I
officers
didn't
publicly.
realize I was taking comments from the peanut gallery.
Peanut gallery.
Do I come to your timeline and insult you? You need to relax so we can figure this out.
I
or
am
we can
calm.
just leave.
It's your furball that's out of control.
You have a giant hole in your ship. I think you are not doing the best right now.
Well, congratulations, Captain Obvious. I'm field promoting you to Admiral Apparent.
Can we shoot him?
He just called you a furball.
I heard it.
Say, I'm not taking that suggestion off the table yet, Shashista, but we will label that as last resort.
I would label it as second to resort. Second from the first. The first is already passed.
So what were you doing, Captain? You clearly are confused on why you're here.
Well, we were charting a gaseous anomaly in one of the star systems nearby, and we were hit by something, and now we're here in what you claim is 2196.
What you hit was a lovely swarm of particles that sent you careening through time.
He kind of looks at his science officer. Science officer nods. Well, congratulations. That's one thing you've said that actually sounds right.
Sounding right and being right are two different things, Captain.
Well, I'm glad that we've gotten that out of the way, because if I got to sit here and debate with your pathetic skills, we're going to be here all day.
Yeah, well, you can be stuck here forever. See if I care.
And then I think he just cuts comms. I don't think he says anything
That's
else.
fair.
I think he just cuts comms.
That's fair.
I know the systems are probably not compatible, but since we did get the hail, would it be possible to create an advantage that we're able to get some information from the Nova class?
What do you want to know?
Just kind of maybe some information about the ship, its systems, or whatever Nora can grab is really what I'm going for here. On the lower band of the hail, a little piggyback going on.
Tell you what, since this could potentially violate the temporal prime directive in a glorious way, I'm going to give you a devil's deal.
Okay.
You don't have to spend the 2 momentum here, but you are going to have to roll a number of challenge die equal to the number of momentum you want to spend here. And for every momentum you spend, you get to roll 1 challenge die. If you roll an effect, you get some information. If you roll a blank, they know.
I
Are
mean,
you-
even
are you
if they
just
know,
doing this, or
what
are you
are they going to
talking?
do? What are they going to do? Yell at
Yeah.
us some more?
Oh no, they took it away.
It's a,
Well, it'd be nice maybe if Callahan de-escalated a little bit, possibly.
Can you de-escalate it, Tellarite?
I'm going to say,
No, escalate it further.
I kept them from shooting them to oblivion. I would call that de-escalating.
It's true. It's probably the politest thing. They probably respect it.
And say, but Vakaya, can you please work on what's going on? I would like our Vulcan back. This Tellarite sucks.
Yes, sir.
Different channel.
No, I'm gonna leave it open. I want him to hear that. I want our Vulcan back.
So if we were doing as an advantage, spending the 2 momentum and could roll 2 challenge dice.
No, so what I'm going to say is you don't actually have to spend the 2 momentum. It is
Right.
any number between 1 and 5 momentum to spend to roll that many challenge dice.
Oh, okay. So we're not actually using them. Oh, okay.
Correct, yes.
So how many challenge dice you guys want Nora to roll here?
Just
go for
remember,
broke.
1 blank means they know. 1 effect is 1 tidbit of information.
To
Do
be
we-
fair, I'm not really that worried about them knowing
No.
what.
Yeah, I know.
Knowing
Do
what,
we
sorry?
have a temporal
we're
prime
scanning them.
directive yet?
Oh.
No, you actually don't have a temporal prime directive
Cool.
yet.
So we have no negative repercussions from messing with this, at least officially. They have to make the rule first.
I mean,
Right.
one would probably know better, but if that
No,
one is
right.
Callahan,
We are actively trying to save our our actual ship that we were making repairs on.
And we need to know more about this ship if we're going to
Yep.
fix, if we do. So I'm,
So
I'm
is
going to
there-
go break.
Just so I'm getting this right, so I'm not confused, there was the Walker class ship,
The touchstone. Mm-hmm.
right? That didn't change when that beam came or when that wave came. That didn't change that ship. We just saw another Nova class ship. Is that correct?
In the exact same spot and position that the touchstone was is now the Nova class. The
Okay, so it
Kurosawa.
did replace it.
Yes,
Okay, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't both of them. Thank you for clarifying.
of course. So how many, Squiff? I need to know.
I just rolled.
Oh, hasn't come through on my end. Let me double check.
There it
Oh,
is.
there you go. That is
Holy
okay.
crap.
You used all 5 momentum. Very nice. But that is
That's a
4
lot of effects, too.
successes. That is amazing. So
Links. Yeah.
Like I said, no consequences.
yeah, there's absolutely no consequences to this. So here's what
Never-
you're gonna
never.
get. And feel free to debate me on if this is good enough. But you're gonna get their warp core schematics. You're going to get their holographic technology, so their holodecks and things like that. You are going to get their phaser arrays, which, if I had to put a number on it, you basically have the equivalent of phaser bank type 2s. They have phaser banks type 10s or 11s, so they are significantly better. For number 4, you're going to get a few of their shuttle diagrams, so type 10s, type 11s. Also for the Wave Rider shuttle. And then for your 5th and final, you are going to get some navigational data of what the area looks like from where this ship came from.
Ooh, where did it come from?
Well, if you'd care to look, I can have you roll an Inside Science.
Sorry, just that was holodeck, shuttles, nav data, and what was the other two?
Warp Core and
Warp core.
what's the other one? Now I'm lost. Warp Core? Which one am I missing?
Of course, schematics,
I have
holotechnology,
a fish
phaser
brain right
banks,
now, so
shuttles, navigational data.
Lieutenant, would you mind looking at that navigational data? I have a feeling you're
Oh,
much
Mr.
better at
Warren.
it than I am. You are than I am.
Nora's just very wide-eyed right now. Yes, yeah, of course, Commander. Yes. One moment.
I know it's a lot. We downloaded it all, right? Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Gonna have fun for a while.
sorry, I definitely just still had that question. What was the
No,
last
so
one?
I'm counting off in my head. So it was Warp Core, Shuttle, Holodeck, Phasers, and then
It was
navigational data, unless I said something
Thank you.
twice.
No, you're good. Appreciated.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so Squiff, if Takaldi wants to give me a insight and con difficulty of 2, we can see what has changed in the 200 plus years between. I guess it's actually 200 years on the dot. So there you go.
Insight and
Sweet.
con. Oof.
And you don't have any momentum, unfortunately.
We do or don't?
Do not. No.
You used
Oh, that's
it.
not that one.
Yeah, you spent them all.
I would like to argue my stellar phenomena focus
Sure. Why
in
not?
light of astronavigation.
Sure, I can give you astronavigation too.
I don't have astronavigation.
Oh, well, you do. One of the methods of astronavigation is stellar phenomenon, so I'll give it to you.
Okay. Am I being assisted by the station right now?
Yeah, the station will assist you with the computers in con. And remember, the station always rolls 1 die and has a focus. We're already at 3, so you already get 1 momentum
Nice.
back. And then if someone wants to get the station,
Computers and science?
yep, computers in con. Okay, so no help from the station. But still, you got 3 successes, which again is 1 momentum. So there's still a Showa Station on the map. That's the good news. The bad news is that the Tholium border has very much made Showa Station a beachhead, or more or less a peninsula on very much encroaching Tholian territory.
Mm. What's our nebula look like over there?
Actually, the nebula's gone in 2376.
Ooh.
Is it just the Tholian border that's near us, or the Klingon allied forces one too?
Well, that's the funny thing is that the Klingons are kind of off on the other side of Tholian space from you all. Like, it's if you were to put it in layers, it's you, Tholian space, then Klingons.
Didn't make any progress over here. Okay, good to know.
But
Well, Commander, they seem to have been in the same spatial location, just from a different time. Whatever happened to the touchstone whatever spatial anomaly was there, could have very well been in their space-time continuum as well. Perhaps both ships were affected at the same time, and the effect merely happened as they approach our station.
And how much danger is the touchstone?
Well, let's find out together. As I spend 2 threat, there's another rock of the station, and boop goes away the Kurosawa and returns the touchstone.
Oh. Hail them immediately.
So this time, the bridge of the touchstone looks actually about the same as it did before, and Captain Tevin kind of leans forward in his chair and goes, I'm sorry, did I forget something in our conversation just now?
We have been hit by a certain cloud of particles, and we're experiencing what we've been called temporal shenanigans.
I'm sorry, perhaps I misunderstood what you just said. Are you saying there is such a thing as temporal shenanigans? And he does the
Yes.
vocal eyebrow raise.
Yes, you spent the last 3 minutes in 200 years in the future.
The eyebrow gets higher.
Yes. You were replaced with a counterpart who is a very angry Tellarite.
Careful, his eyebrow might leave his face.
It's definitely getting up there.
Commander,
I would.
Commander. If the captain has no memory, if in this is just instant for him, it could have actually been the station that was sent into the future for a brief moment of time.
Well, that's fair.
I don't
Perhaps
like it.
we should evacuate the crew of the ship just in case, though.
I agree. And say, Captain, do you have any working shuttlecraft?
We have several, yes. Do you believe evacuation is prudent? What you said it was, what type of particles passed through the station? We could do a scan on our end.
Chronoton particles, Captain.
Turns
If you
to
can do a
science
scan
officer.
with your sensors, I can send you the sensors from the station here as well. Yes.
Please do. And then he turns to his science officer, nods. Science officer run the scan, and you hear off screen, sir, we appear to be, our entire hull is flooded with chronotons. Well, there you have it. Apparently our ship is the one that's producing the chronotons.
So yes, I deem the evacuation of your ship very prudent.
Very well. I will see to evacuation procedure. Boop. And the Kurosawa's back.
Ugh. Well, that's disappointing.
Well, we can leave them on hold.
Yep.
Tap in some of the elevator music.
And say, can we prep everything so as soon as they get back, we can get the Touchstone's crew safely on board? Also, can we also alert sick bay? Is there any sickness in time jumping?
Well, that's just it. Do we think it's just the ship, or are they going to contaminate us further?
Well, we'll find out once we get them onto the shuttles. We'll see if the shuttles leave too.
Well, if the ship is producing the particles, my guess would be it's the ship and not us.
Yes, I think you are correct. We can narrow it down that it is them, and we're just unlucky participants in this matter.
Can we get more information? Like talking to Callahan, do you think we could try to get more information on what caused this fracture in the ships, the like energy residue, or like investigate that further?
What do you suggest?
Well, if we figure out what caused the damage on these, does that have anything to do with where this chronoton particles are coming from?
Lieutenant, you said you found where they were coming from. Was it just that ship, or were you getting anything before then?
The sensor readings were just showing the touchstone itself, sir. As far as where they encountered the anomaly in the first place, that I don't know. Perhaps we could learn more from their logs.
Takaldi, Vakaya, find out as much as you can on this weird scar that both of these ships seem to have and what it possibly could be. Shashista, make sure we all stay safe, or if we have to bite someone.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Do your thing.
Okay.
So let's start with Takaldi and Vokaya. So how do you all want to approach the problem? And then I'll make a roll appropriate.
Good question.
Definitely want to give Sick Bay the heads up, and she would send them kind of the temporal and the chronoton readings, just in case they do have to, treat anybody that could have been suffering effects. I don't know. Did we find out if the ship actually had any kind of injured or anything?
All the injured have been stabilized. They don't have like any life-threatening injuries aboard, so they'll be fine for the time being. Now, of course, you're going to have somebody with a broken leg that's very unhappy, but they'll live.
I would send some engineering crews out with or some worker bees, something like that, to take a closer look at the actual damage of the saucer itself.
Okay. Would you be going out yourself, or would you be delegating?
Good question.
I would
Nora
respectfully
would
ask that
definitely like to get a closer look.
Yeah,
I would respectfully ask,
but
that you
she's
don't get
really
too
bad at
close,
shuttles.
because I don't want to lose you two to the future.
That's okay. I'll leave you a note from the past when I'm in the Old West.
Fair enough.
So how worker bees themselves can be sent out directly from the station, right?
Yep.
How far away would it be from the station?
If you want like an actual distance, it's about 10 km out, so tiny in space terms, but far enough that it's at like long range for you at the moment.
Yeah, just so I know, like tech-wise for us, her taking a shuttle out, those sensors are going to be the same whether they would be on the station, right? But visually, getting closer, does that make a difference versus what we were already looking at on the view screen?
I would say visually not much is going to change, but really your sensor is going to be able to find out a little bit more information when they're that much closer. Because as great as your sensors are, especially with your new advanced sensor suites and your high resolution sensors, some interference from the chronotons is coming through. So you're not getting all the information you could from a direct scan, if you see what I'm saying.
Definitely. And that's kind of what I wanted to know. I didn't want to waste the time or put myself at risk. So yeah, Vakoya Callahan.
Send it.
I think it's prudent that we get a closer look at this an actual closer look at the scars on these vessels. As dangerous as it is, I think we need to actually take a shuttle out there. I'll take some bees with me.
Okay. I will leave it to your discretion with that, but only one of you. One of you has to stay here.
Okay. I actually have an idea for Nora, so
okay, I was gonna say we'll flip for it if you want, but if you have something else to do.
I thought of something as Elle was explaining the situation.
Sweet.
I can postulate to everybody here. So the station got hit. We know the station got hit by one because we were all affected in the turbo lift. So there was some kind of wave, but we know they're emanating from the ship. So my thinking is that Nora could do something to maybe reinforce the station or recalibrate the shields or something to prevent further waves from affecting us. So then we only have to deal with the ship out there.
Maybe backdoor on the upgrade net I already installed from the Tholian attack that Callahan asked me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Timey-wimey shenanigans, the anti-timey-wimey shield,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise, okay, if you want, I can go. That was my only other thought.
I like the idea. It's a fun one.
To boost the shield. Is that what you're saying?
Boosting the shields, maybe recalibrating the deflector array to, I don't know, aim it at the the touchstone, so it bounces back anything, you know.
Yeah, totally. All right.
No,
All right.
that sounds more like a timed thing, so I don't know if you want to split us up like that.
You tell me.
Commander Callahan.
Say
So long as everyone is safe.
and say, what danger would this have to the ship? To both the station and the ship.
I would say less of a risk with me just going to investigate, or with her just going to investigate, versus, you know, wasting more time and putting the station at risk.
All right. Say, if you think it's the best course of action, make it so.
Okay, so yeah, she'll make her way to the shuttle bay.
All right. So, Volkaya, I need you to roll me a control and a con at a difficulty of 2. And I will roll the shuttle die because apparently I didn't make a shuttle, so I'll just look up their stats. The shuttle does not assist you, unfortunately.
Okay. Control con.
If you have anything related to small craft, shuttle pods, all things would apply as focuses here.
Helm operations?
Would apply as a focus.
Ooh, okay. It's definitely the only one. I don't really want to use our momentum, so let's see what we get here.
You get your 2 successes. So you fly out towards the touchstone, and you get, we'll say, a fair distance away from the hull, but you're still able to get a good look at the lance that went through the vessel. And what you're noticing is that it's clean, almost too clean. And what I mean by that is it looks like, instead of like bits of debris and bits of like emergency bulkheads sticking out into space, it's a clean bore through the hull. Like you can cleanly see from one end to the other.
Almost like more cauterized, hey. It's actually been, like you said, there's not like debris, like it's been cut. It's more like bored through, you said?
Yeah, I think cauterized was a good word to use there.
Okay. Yeah, she definitely communicates that back to sorry, I can't remember your name. To Caldi?
Caldi, yeah.
Caldi, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, she'll be feeding in all the information that the shuttle is sending back into the station's computer as well, and using the earlier scans that she got from the ship when it was coming in.
Okay.
Also comparing it to that mysterious future vessel.
Okay. Give me a insight security. The ship will, or the station will assist you with a computers in security. And I will also stare at Rocket, because if you want to bring in Shishista, she might actually know more than you in this regard.
Is that whether or not Takali wants to bring in Shishista?
Yeah, it's Takali's call here.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. If we didn't split off, we're still up in ops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Commander, could you help me take a look at this?
I suppose.
And then she'll show her the comparison scans from the 2 ships, as well as what Mokaya is sending back right now in real time.
This is rather peculiar. It's a little too clean for regular battle scars, one might say.
Very, very precise. It was the spatial anomaly. I've never seen one behave in that way. There would be some kind of random.
There'd be more debris. That's
unless this part of the ship does exist somewhere, just not here.
Well, I don't like it. I don't like the sounds of that. And then what would I need to roll?
Yeah, so it's the same roll. It's still an insight security from whoever wants to take the main roll. The difficulty is going to be a 3. and the station will assist with a computer security, and then the other person can assist with their own inside security.
I mean, I'm
Okay, so
decent
two
with
assists.
insight and security, so.
Now, would Takaldi's testing a theory come into play here?
It would.
And as far as ooh. Could I use a value here?
If you want to spend determination, sure.
This seems important. What y'all feel about this? Because I have a value that is nothing is as it seems, and this certainly doesn't seem like it seems.
I think it might be a very crucial piece of information if we know what's going on like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
either if you want to take the main role and use determination, or I can. Either way.
yeah, I have pretty decent stats in those, so let me roll with this. All right. Okay. Here we go.
All right, well, Shashista gets your 3 you need off the bat. Let's get the computers and security for the station, and then Takaldi's assist.
Okay, doing Takaldi's now. And focus and forensics or sensors.
I'll give you both. Remember, you're only rolling the 1 die.
Right.
All right, now from Takaldi, so I just now need to see a computers and security from the station. Okay, 4 successes, meaning you guys end up with a point of momentum, bringing you up to 3.
Hey.
So, Rocket, what Shashista finds, just looking at the data, is that the only kind of weapon that you can even begin to fathom that could cause something like this is a literal, like, chronoton lance, where it doesn't so much destroy or burn away like a phaser does, it literally shifts part of whatever it hits through time.
Well, I have some bad news.
Oh, no.
It seems that the ship injuries we're gazing upon here were made by a chronoton lance of some kind. I've never seen anything like it, but in theory, what it would do is it wouldn't destroy the vessel per se. It would just poof some of it into a different time.
Who would have a weapon like that and would be using it against the Federation?
Well, in theory, it could be anyone from anywhere at any time.
Yes, or something a bit more practical is what I had in mind.
Takaldi's just
Well, it's funny because my GM timer is up and boop goes away the touchstone and the Kurosama is back. Now, Vokaya, you're in a shuttle very, very close to the hull of the Kurosama as it reappears. So I need you to roll me a daring and a con, difficulty of 3, and helm operation will still apply as a focus here. And I will once again roll for the shuttle. I believe in the shuttle. Okay, the shuttle actually assists you. So I need to see another 2 successes.
I'm going to spend one of our momentum for a die.
Okay.
Roll 3.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that you do get 4 successes, so you actually end up getting a momentum back. However, you, in your, let's say, zeal to not collide with the Kurosama's hull, you end up stationing your shuttle right over where the hole is, and then you disappear.
Commander?
I saw that too. That's not good. This is why we needed one of you to be here.
It might be wise if we put on a timer of some kind or something.
I agree. Let's set a timer for what are the intervals of this?
Yes, has there been an interval?
There
A fixed
is.
interval.
It's
good.
strangely enough, it's going off the Fibonacci sequence.
All right.
Damn spirals.
Right. I will send a hail to the I can't remember the name of that ship again.
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa, thank you. And be like, Captain, I think we might have identified the weapon that might be causing our issues here. What did you call it again, Lieutenant? Or Commander?
A lance,
Hey.
a chronoton lance. Chronoton? Chronoton.
Not some sort of chronoton lance.
It appears to be a chronoton lance that's not only struck your ship, but one of ours in our timeline as well.
I'm sorry, maybe I misheard. It's something that happens when I talk to people who don't really have the correct information. You're saying that in studying a gaseous anomaly, we were struck by a time weapon? Do I understand this correctly?
That is our best working theory, yes. And seeing as how one of our crew also got sent as soon as they went over your wound, which is the focal point of the anomaly, it is a plausible theory.
Well, that's freaking amazing. You know, next you're going to tell me that Funline Place, whatever the hell that stupid station game is, you're going to tell me that's actually a thing.
Cut.
I'm going to shoot them.
As much as I would enjoy wiping that smile off his face, we do remember that we are hopelessly outgunned.
Are
I mean, they
I
do
was
have a
picturing that
hole
scene from Wrath of Khan. Oh, look, we're putting in the command code.
Say,
I mean,
unless
they have one more giant hole in their ship than we have in the station.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out.
We can roll with advantage.
Well, as you all debate what to do next, I think this is an excellent moment to take a 5 to 10 minute break, maybe 15-minute break.
Yes.
Really depends on the puppy, but we'll be back shortly, everybody. Stick around.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Session 2.5 of Showa Station. If you're watching live, great, we're glad to have you. If you're watching this on YouTube, basically we had a long time off because of scheduling problems, but this is a continuation of another episode, but everything's going to be stitched together for you, so good job, YouTube. You can just keep watching the same video. For people on Twitch, though, it's been month and a half, almost 2 months at this point. So what I want to say is that we're probably going to get some of the details wrong. At least I did my homework and tried to note as many things possible from last session, but we might not be in the same mindset as we were during that last session. So I just wanted everybody to be clear on that. But I'm eager to get started. I'm eager to finish the story we at least started, and then we'll just sort of see what happens from there. Let's do introductions and we'll get started. So Lone Squiff, what do you got going on?
Hi, everybody. I'm Lone Squiff, aka Mal, and I will be playing Lieutenant Nimanor Takaldi, the Draenei Science Officer. And I'm very excited to be back with this group. I love you all.
Very nice. Cad.
Hey, I am Alex, known as Cad Bane's Hat. I am the captain of Showa Station, Commander Callahan, and I am very also happy to be with all these amazing people here.
Rock out.
Hello, everybody. I am Rockette Fox, your second favorite cat person, because I'm actually a cat, despite how it looks. And yeah, I am playing Commander Shishi, who is the lovable and very chipper station security.
Very nice. And certainly last but not least, Ars Animus.
Appreciated. Ars Animus, Katie. I play the chief engineer, Lieutenant Vokoya, on Showa Station. Also, ditto all around. Glad to be back with everyone.
All right. Now, normally we would play the intro video here, but in the interest of VOD chopping, because future me is lazy, we're just going to jump right into the story. So, where we last left off, the officers and senior staff of Showa Station were dealing with a bit of timey-wimey nonsense. And all of it was focused around the USS Touchstone, a damaged walker class that had a perfect hole bored through the hull of the hull of the saucer section. And as the touchstone approached Showa Station for repairs, there was a chronoton wave that emitted out from the vessel, and in its place, there was no longer the touchstone. Instead, a vessel from the future, the USS Kurosawa, a Nova class from 2376, appeared in the exact same spot that the USS Touchstone was located. There was some tense back and forth between the captain, Taffrell, and the senior staff of Showa Station. And as they killed time, hey, fun pun, the Touchstone actually popped back and reappeared or switched places with the Kurosawa. And as these two ships out of time began to sort of oscillate back and forth, the senior staff of Showa Station did a few things. One of the things they did is they stole a little bit of future data. They also managed to figure out that the cause of the hole in the hull of these two vessels was something called a chronoton lance or something similar to it. You know, a theoretical time weapon that sort of phases things out of time. But where we last left off proper was Vokaya going out in a shuttle or a worker bee to investigate the hull proper above the USS Touchstone. And Vokaya, you in the shuttle, everything's fine, everything's working. And then one moment, you're seeing down through the hull of the Touchstone, and then everything changes outside of the view screen of the shuttle. Have you ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yes.
So you know the scene towards the end where it's just a stream of colorful lights and just sort of that tunnel vision where it's like you're just sort of flying along the landscape kind of a thing.
Definitely.
You're
Crazy.
basically having that sort of experience where it's just a cascade of lights flying past the view screen. And then everything
flying past the view screen, not like sensory in my eyes.
Correct, yeah. So you still, if you were to look away from the view screen of the shuttle, you would still see the interior of the shuttle. But everything outside the shuttle is just kaleidoscope of colors. And then you're above a planet, as is the Touchstone. And every time you go to tap the shuttle's sensors or the shuttle's pad or anything about the shuttle itself, none of that works. Absolutely nothing happens. You can still breathe. Life support is still working, apparently. But you can't control the shuttle or get any data from the shuttle. All you have is visual. Anything you can see is what I can give you information on.
Okay. That's not difficult. So you see using my technology now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as it's this like light show was streaming past, I guess she'd get up out of her chair as she's like hitting the consoles. You said it's not even like dead notes of like, you know, the negative commands. It's just not responding at all.
Literally no tactile feedback or verbal feedback or any kind of feedback whatsoever. Everything seems to be frozen.
Right. Is my tricorder frozen as well?
It is.
Interesting. Other than the view screen in front of me, are there any other ports to look out of?
We'll say in one of these older shuttles, you could look out through the door that leads out of the airlock.
And I'm guessing, do I see the same thing?
Yeah, you see kind of a white void with a planet below you.
With a planet below me.
Also, you do see the Touchstone literally suspended below you as the same way as you flew over it. It's now suspended below you, kind of a thing. So it's you, the Touchstone, and then this planet.
Right. And if I have no... Okay. Is there, with my knowledge of ships, would I... Well, I guess I'll do it first. So she goes to like the main, whatever would be the main panel for the controls and stuff, and starts getting to there, looking at those connections, seeing if they're frozen.
And everything is frozen in time, to put a coin on it. In fact, if you were to open up the reactor right now, you'd see that the reactor is completely frozen mid-reaction.
Okay. it's definitely so. Clue in that it's not working. She is kind of thinking it's literally stopped. It's not, or I'm out of time from it.
And it's at this time, I need you to roll me a fitness and engineering, please, at a difficulty of 1. And you do have 3 momentum by my count, so feel free to spend some.
Okay. Appreciate it, because I wasn't really sure what to do next. I'm just trying. 1 second, just logging in here.
All good?
Okay. You said that was fitness?
Fitness engineering.
Fitness. Engineering difficulty 3?
Difficulty of just 1 to start.
Oh, sorry. I definitely did not hear that correctly. Difficulty of just 1. We have 3 momentum. This is okay. I'm going to use 1 momentum to roll 3 dice. Because why not? Getting back into it.
Hopefully get you more momentum.
Yeah. I don't think I have any focuses that she would think, no, would focus on that. Computers, but like it's not the computer that's wrong. So it's just frozen.
Yep.
Perform task. 3 dice, no focus.
3 successes, meaning you get 2 momentum, bringing you up to 4. So you feel one of those same waves that hit the station originally back when this all started. You feel that pass through you. And you start to hear the elevator music, that 1920s elevator music again. But it's very fleeting. It only is there for about 10 seconds before it fades out into nothingness. But what I'm going to give you is that when you maybe glance outside again, what you see is that the planet has changed. Before it was just a standard sort of class M, blues, greens, whatever. Now you're starting to see browns and blacks and signs of civilization. And then another wave hits you. And now that civilization has come across the entire globe. And then another wave hits you. And then it's almost every bit of surface of the planet has become part of civilization. But then a larger wave hits you and everything resets. And that's when everything comes back and you return to the other side of the hole where you entered, with the touchstone below you, Showa Station in the distance. And for everybody else on Showa Station, the touchstone was gone for approximately 1 minute. So let's play out that conversation with your favorite Tellarite. So at this point, Captain Terafrel is on the horn with Commander Callahan and goes, "So you mean to tell me that you figured out what it is that hit us with your inferior technology? Am I hearing that correctly?"
Amanda, don't tell him.
It's and before I'm gonna make like a mute signal. I'm gonna look over to Shashista. I'm guessing sitting right next to me. And it's like, why? What benefit would it get to keep this information from him?
It would be funny.
I still like our plan of we figure this out and we keep him suspended there till he apologizes. But for Vokaya's sake, I want as many answers as possible.
That's fair.
All right. And I'm going to put it back on to play and be like, we believe it is what something lance? What was that again? Sorry.
Chronoton.
Chronoton.
A Chronoton lance.
A time weapon. Well, that would certainly explain the phenomenon that you're talking about and why we are seeing a rust bucket of a station. Well, in my opinion, clearly I need to take charge here. So on authority of Starfleet, and then he pops out of existence, and Captain Tevin, the Vulcan, the USS Touchstone, and Vokaya all return.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. Have we established that they are tied in the exact point in space? And when they switch together, is it if one ship moves, will the other ship appear in that new spot, or are they separate?
So it is the exact same position.
Okay.
The
Have we
only
tried
thing that is
moving them at
constant
all?
is the hole in the hull.
Okay. Captain, how have you lost any systems or power of any sort during this ordeal you're going through?
Checking now. It does appear that we have lost a minimal amount of power in our port nacelle, but other than that, nothing to report.
All right.
Thankfully, it seems like Fukai has returned as well.
Yes, Vakaya, can you elaborate on any of your experience?
Commander, seems like once I got to the other side, everything was frozen in time. I couldn't scan, couldn't move. I could see the touchstone below my shuttle with another planet, but it almost seemed to be shifting in a different time than mine. I could see civilizations literally passing before me. And then almost as soon as I was trying to get into the controls, I was snapped back here.
So you're saying you're not going to a place in time, you're going to a place that's experiencing the flow of time?
Without being able to run any scans, yeah, I would assume so.
Please take as many notes as you possibly can during this. Any information, any detail, no matter how small, could be very useful to us.
Surely we're not allowing her to go back.
I don't know if we'll have a choice or not. Vakaya, can you please move away from the center of that time hole, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, moving closer back to the station now.
Don't get too close. In case you are still infected, we don't want you... you went there and disappeared. We don't know what else could have happened.
Yes, sir.
Say, sensors, please scan her ship for any changes.
And instead of going back to the station, I'll kind of go adjacent to it, I guess. But
can we also get a scan of both the Kurosawa and I can never remember names, and the touchstone, to see if there's any differences between them two and Vakaya's ship, and see if we can cross-reference any of the similarities or differences for hopefully any answers to this.
All right. Well, that sounds like an excellent job for Takaldi. All right. Yes. So, Takaldi, I need you to give me a reason science, and the station will assist you with a sensors science. And since it has been a while, I will remind you that it has both advanced sensor suites and high-resolution sensors, so you will have a bonus momentum to ask a free question with, or create an advantage, whatever you'd prefer. But the difficulty on this was going to be a 3. It's now going to come down to a 2, and by my count, you are at 4 momentum.
So the free momentum was for the question. So if I spend 1 momentum, that just gives me 1 die. I don't have to spend 2, right?
Well, you get the bonus momentum if you succeed on the task.
Right. Okay. In that case, I am going to spend 1 momentum.
Okay. And if someone could grab the station real quick. All right, so there's the 2 you already need. And again, it is a sensor science for the starbase.
Just 1?
Just 1, always has a focus. Okay, so just the 2. So, actually a science officer, so you technically are going to be able to ask me 2 questions, Takaldi, but the first thing you're going to know is that Vokaya's shuttle has a unique chronoton signature, in that she's not in any danger of spreading the phenomenon, but she's slightly out of phase, if that makes any sense. Sort of like that one episode of TNG where Worf kind of flew in and experienced the same events over and over and over, and he was just slightly out of phase with everything. Same kind of thing here, but a lot more manageable. If you were to scan the Kurosawa and the Touchstone, both of them have a unique signature, so they each have their own. But what's really going to matter is that the Touchstone and the Kurosawa are inverse of one another. So, for example, if the Touchstone is 1, 2, 3, the Kurosawa is 3, 2, 1.
And then Vokaya with her shuttlecraft is right there in the middle.
Yeah, Vokaya is like 2, 2, 2.
Same. Suggestions.
Well, I do have one question for Vokaya. As Numenor is doing all this, I do want to ask her, since she said the touchstone was below her. Sir, was the touchstone intact below you, or was it still missing a piece of the hull?
It was still missing a piece of the hull, correct?
It was, but if you want to make that one of your free questions, I can give you more information.
I will do that, yes.
Okay. So the free question is, Vokaya, you think about it for a moment, and you think that as the civilization was reaching its peak, that there was sort of a translucent, almost like 50% opacity part of the hull that was returning to the touchstone. But you were so caught up in the moment that initially you didn't notice until you really thought about it.
Right. Yeah, sir, looking back on it, it almost seems, if one were to take a leap that the ship and the planet are connected. I'm not sure if they were repairing it and it was so out of phase that I couldn't observe it. But it seemed like it was, sorry, what was the wording you used, ELH? You said it was like 50, like it was opacity, like you could see through it, so the hole wasn't totally there.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, so I relay that to him.
Put that over in calculations on the chalk whiteboard over here.
Chalk.
Yeah, chalk on the whiteboard. Yeah.
Is this something that you think if we could delay their time of them phasing, that it could be repaired in that sense of time wave, or?
I'm not sure, because anything I bring there seems to be frozen in time. The shuttle was completely frozen, my tricorder was frozen, the reactor was frozen, but I wasn't.
Interesting.
So Nora's train of thought right here is to create an inverse beam of some sort from the station, using like the station's deflector array.
Is that something? Is that possible?
I would say so, unless told otherwise.
She's kind of like, is that possible? Wait, is that?
Yes.
She's like, no, working over at a computer.
You said that very confidently.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have
How
to work
long?
with Gina, maybe, since I'm not at Showa currently.
I'd be curious how these two ships linked to one another, since one would assume that they were in differing time periods, as it were.
I would like to know some more information on the missions that these two ships were doing. I have a feeling we'll have a much more luck with the touchdown than we will the Kurosawa. Are we getting to the end of the interval that they usually stay phased in, or?
Oh, the entire time you've talked in the touchstone and the Kurosawa flipped about 3 times.
Oh, so Vokaya is no longer in that flipping.
Correct, yeah. The entire time they're flipping about, Vokaya's stayed constant.
Cool. Who is currently here?
The touchstone is.
All right. What's the timing for the next interval?
You got 5 minutes.
Okay. I will hail them and I will ask them the details on the mission that they were doing when this anomaly started.
All right. So Captain Tevin reports, we were studying a gaseous anomaly that was producing some exotic particles we were not familiar with. We now believe, at least on our end, that they might be some of these chronotons you've mentioned.
You remember getting hit?
Hit by something, yes, and then the next thing we knew, we were sort of phasing in and out.
Do you know where you got hit from?
Unfortunately, our sensors weren't able to tell. It was as if in a single moment of time, an infinitesimal amount before our sensors could even register it, we experienced the affliction to our hull.
What is that planet you all are near?
Planet? I'm not familiar with any planet.
Our engineer, when she phased with you all, said she saw a planet beneath you all that was going through time as well as you were.
Sorry, Commander. There was no planet nearby, both when we were struck and since we came here.
Huh.
And then Shishi will kind of say, hopefully out of ear range to the other captain. It seems as if perhaps if they are far into the future, it's the development of a new planet, or perhaps one that used to exist but does not any longer.
But they're from the touchdowns from our time. Why would the planet be gone now? So it'd have to be a formation of a planet? And they said the nebula isn't there in the future either.
That seems to be my guess.
Hmm.
Since also the Kurosawa evidently is from the future as well.
Yes. Well, we have a question for the Kurosawa, and then if they could tell us the history of the region in their timeline for any changes from the nebula to a planet that is there.
Very good. Do you want us to keep a look at anything in particular?
Say, just as any details that you can find that you think may be helpful, even if you think it might be mundane, just what's around you. Anything that we can learn is going to help us make the safest thing possible to reverse this.
Well, there was one report from our chief medical officer. She said that apparently some of the crew are reporting some form of an audio hallucination, something about a 1920s style Earth music.
We heard that as well in our turbolift when this whole thing started. That seems to be something with the chronotons.
Well, if any more symptoms develop, you will know right away.
All right. We appreciate it, Captain. And say we are trying to resolve this as soon as possible. Good luck.
Then right as you say that, boop, touchstone is replaced by the Kurosawa.
It's curious. We on the station weren't involved in this phenomenon. Why would we have heard this music?
I heard it on the shuttle too, but I didn't hear it like through comms or through speakers.
I wonder if there was just some extra radiation coming from the wound of the weapon, like some of the old 20th century bombs that have been deployed. And say, Kurosawa, we have an information request of you.
Well, make it quick and make it not stupid.
Say, can you tell us the history of the region here near Showa Station? Because in our timeline, there is a nebula here, and we're guessing in your timeline, there's a planet or something there that we have reported of someone seeing. Is that accurate in our assessment?
I could tell you, but it would involve breaking the temporal prime directive, which I don't really feel like doing.
I'll take that as a yes.
Thank you. That was a yes, exactly. So there is a planet there. What mission were you doing, leaving out all things that would break prime directives, of course? What was your current mission before this started?
Oh, I think you're getting ahead of yourselves. There was no planet there, at least not in a planet that would matter.
All right, now that we know that you actually don't care about breaking a prime directive, you were just annoyed, can we talk frankly, please?
Presence command, difficulty of 4.
Okay. It's the ship. All right, I definitely need the momentum on here.
All right, well.
Oh, please take it.
By my count, you have 3, if I have counted correctly.
All right. So I can get 4 dice. Would diplomacy work as a focus on this?
It would, yeah.
Cool. All right.
And there's your 4.
There we
nice.
go.
Nice. And don't worry, Chad, I see your 2 complications. They'll come. So the Tellarite captain just kind of snorts and says, all right, fine. I suppose I can be a little bit more transparent and I won't have the Department of Temporal Investigations on my ass. There is indeed a protoplanet that was formed by a terraforming experiment with the nebula in our time. So, yes, we were studying the protoplanet and the terraforming of the nebula.
Interesting. What happened right before this time anomaly happened? Did anything strange happen to you all?
Well, we were above the planet's northern pole investigating a strange energy signature.
So I think it's the same energy signature that affected our time as well.
Well, did you actually have a scan of this energy signature that I might be able to, compare it with, or?
And say the other ship said they weren't on. When you all flip again, I will inquire again to see if there's anything we can give you to cross-reference.
Takaldi, you actually have that information already.
Oh, I was going to ask if I could get that information.
Mm-hmm. No, remember when I said the 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1? You have that information.
Oh, right.
And so I'm gonna, as I see like Takaldi, like, wait, I'm gonna do like one of the hand things. We're gonna make them wait a cycle around. We're not gonna just give them.
You see her eyes light up. She gets all excited.
Yeah. And it's like, thank you, Captain. If there's any information you think would be pertinent for us to get us back to respective timelines and on with our lives, please let us know.
And I think he just sort of snorts and then turns off the comms.
Shishi will say, anyway. Shishi will say to Khan, I'm curious, since it seems as if our scans and such don't work in the flip time, since that is this creature's native time, if their scans are working.
Ooh, that is a good thought. How much time do we have before the switch?
2 minutes.
Okay. I will calm him again. It's like, follow-up question, Captain. Do your sensors work when you're in our timeline?
Yes, I can see that your station is barely rated as a Class M environment and that you have far too many cations aboard.
And say,
I'm going to shoot him.
And to say, the racism aside, which you think we would have grown past in a couple centuries from now.
Oh, no, I love cations. They're my favorite.
Yes. Anyway,
is that sarcasm? Is he being sarcastic?
And I'm just cutting it off on that. I'm like, all right, we do know their sensors do work. Ours don't. That is interesting. Or was it just Vakaya's sensors that weren't working because she's in this other weird middle thing, not in a full inverse? She didn't belong in either timeline, really.
Yeah, good point. I was kind of like edge observing almost.
Yeah. Let us ask the touchstone when they get here.
All right. Dramatically appropriate amount of time passes. Touchstone comes back, and the question that you ask is what exactly?
Captain, do your sensors work in both timelines, or they shut down when you phase?
Both timelines. I'm only familiar with a current timeline that we're popping in and out of. We, again, have no recollection of any time discrepancy. We simply go from moment to moment, and you tell us when we phase back in and out.
Interesting. We think we have a lead based on some of our sensors and the pattern that both you and the Curacao are going in. We think we can try something when you all flip the next time.
It's time for a complication. And the complication is going to be that all of a sudden, from behind Captain Tavin, red alert begins to sound, and Tavin looks to the side and says, Commander, it seems that power loss in the starboard nacelle, or the port nacelle. Sorry, there seems to be a bit of confusion. Apparently both nacelles are now running too hot, and we're approaching a warp core breach.
What, this just happened? I'm sorry, Commander, that's your question to ask.
No, what the first officer said. What?
This is as new to me as it is to you. Apparently, whenever we shifted back, a destabilization happened, and both nacelles are approaching a runaway state.
And say, full report from your staff and Tan. Anyone who can get sensors on it, full report on what's going on with them.
All right. So either Vokaya or Takaldi, if you'd like to give me a reason science and a reason engineering. Again, you can decide who's assisting whom. But difficulty on this is going to be a 4.
I'll assist you if you want.
Okay.
And the station will assist with a sensor science also. And by my count, you're out of momentum at the moment.
I will do the station.
Sounds like a value time.
Well, there's one complication.
What did you say the role was?
Reason engineering for you.
Reason.
Now remember, you can buy dice with threat.
Yeah.
Not in a assist though, right?
Well, Takaldi can buy it, but the
Sorry,
assist, no,
sorry.
you're only stuck to the one die.
I just didn't see. I heard the roll, but I didn't see who rolled. I'm guessing that was the station.
Yeah, that was the station.
So, would my testing a theory apply here?
It would.
And then if I buy an additional die, is that threat?
If you want, yes. Well, Volkaya got you 2.
I think we will then go with just the 3.
Okay, so 1 threat? Or no, testing a theory gives you 1. That's right.
Okay, so reason and science, and
You have a focus.
Yeah. Sensor.
Survey says 5 successes. So
Oh
it's
my
a grand
God.
total of 7 successes with a complication, which means you actually get 3 momentum back for your troubles. So let's deal with your successes and then we'll deal with the complication. So yes, the touchstone is experiencing a destabilization of the matter-antimatter reaction, and probably because it keeps flipping back and forth. Since you succeeded so well, I'm going to give it to you that if you were to rely on your scans of the Kurosawa from what you had before the touchstone came back, they were experiencing the same sort of destabilization, but the Kurosawa's reactor is far more advanced than the touchstone. So they're able to handle that sort of problem. The touchstone is not able to handle that problem. And it's also going to mean that there is now, ironically, a ticking time clock where even if you were to shut down the reactor or otherwise stop the warp core breach, you now know that the touchstone can withstand maybe 3, maybe 4 more shifts before it is torn apart. And that's going to be the other complication from chat combined with the one you just rolled.
Was the touchstone the one saying that it didn't see the planet, or it did see the planet?
Neither ship saw the planet. Well, the Kurosawa said that they saw a protoplanet, but not the planet that you described.
It seems that when they're this is Rocket speaking. It seems that when they're switching, they don't even register the time passage.
Correct.
No.
Yep.
And also, meta question: is it possible, either in distance away from us / trying, despite the time shifting and stuff, to extend a shield around their warp core or something, or try and, contain it a little bit?
Yeah, that is certainly something you could do. Let me actually look at your sheet. It's been a while. I got to remind myself what all your sheets have. Let's see. Shishi, what is your engineering? You have an
Well-
engineering of 1, Shishi. I'm sure this will be
I'm not
fine.
saying that I do it.
Well, I
Just
mean,
if it can be done.
it can be done, yes. It would probably be a daring engineering, and the station would assist you with probably a engines and security, but it is something that could be done in difficulty 3.
I have an idea, but I'm not going to do it myself.
Isn't that our job on the command anyway? We have the ideas and other people do it.
Yes, that's how I live my life. Repeats what I just said about the shields.
Say, Nemanora, Wakaya.
Granted,
That
I'm not
could-
sure what happened during this switch of sorts, but if they're not registering the passage of time on their ship, maybe it wouldn't be affected.
Well,
Well, I'm guessing I'm safe to come back to the station commander, right?
yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot you weren't here.
I'm still waiting out in space to
Yes,
get
get
permission
in.
to come
Come in
aboard.
now.
And see
Since you
that we
told me to stay
have
out.
a 20-minute timer before the touchdown is destroyed. We need to start taking more drastic actions. Since we know there will be absolute destruction in 20 minutes, anything, no matter what the risks are worth it at this point, because we must do what we can to save them.
Can we
Might as well try to extend a shield.
So extend a shield to stabilize him, or are we doing some warp field dynamics type of stuff? Just want
I would say just contain the warp
Contain the
core so it
blast?
so it doesn't blow their ship apart.
Wakayo, start working on that shield. Neminora, work on that one inverse beam you had said. You have 20 minutes to make something theoretical, a working prototype, and successful. Go.
All right, so it occurs to me that extending shields is something that Shishi could do with a control and a security. So
I was wondering if it would have something to do with security, but you sounded real
no,
sure.
it's the beam.
That's why I was confused when you said
Yeah.
warp. I thought you meant like warp dynamics, bubble, that kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, that also is a way you could approach it. But now that I think about it a little bit more, yeah. So Shishi, if you want to make the roll, it's a control security. Vokai, if you want to make the roll, it's a daring engineering. And again, the station will assist with probably an engine security in this regard. And what I will tell you,
Yeah, definitely do it.
what I will tell you, difficulty of 5.
Well, I'll go ahead and take an assist from the station, and also, what do we have? Four.
3 momentum. No, hold on. You had 7. It was difficulty of 4. Yes, you have 3 momentum.
Man, so two of those for 2 more dice. Is that mine?
3 for 2 more dice.
3 for 2 more dice.
Do you have a value, possibly?
I may. Yes, I could use either. One is probably better than the other. Looking out for the whole, which, since they are part of Starfleet and also from our time and not jerks, I feel like they would constitute as being part of the whole. The other one I have that could possibly work is can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. That bodes a little more. That bodes a little more. A
little dark.
So that'll give you a automatic 2 on the die. So you're starting off with 2 free successes, and make sure to note that when you hit perform task, it should ask you if you are using determination.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want a 3rd die to roll, it would be 2 momentum.
And I use my advisor talent to help inspire Shishista to do this as amazing as she can.
If you want to replace Vokaya's assist, because there's only one of you assisting in addition to the station.
Yeah, go for it, definitely.
Cool.
Only one of you may help me. It would make me
too many cooks in the kitchen, I get it.
So I am assisting, and Shishista, you may re-roll one of your 20s.
All right.
One of your D20s.
Also, would it make sense to also use a focus, or would that just be overkill?
Well, I mean, you always can have a focus if you have a focus that applies. So
I feel station tactical knowledge.
Definitely applies here.
Would work. All right, I'm taking some of those momentum to roll a 3rd dice. Here we go.
All right. Well, we had 4 successes from Shishista, 1 success from Callahan. So we already have the 5 we needed. And then if someone can get me engine security from the station.
Also, Shishista, you can re-roll one of those if you want, or if you don't want.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Security.
Should I just roll a 1D and just give that one instead?
You can either re-roll, hit the re-roll results in chat, or you can just
hates us right now.
Wow,
it really does.
Guess I can't re-roll for the station, can I?
No, unfortunately, you got to keep that one.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that doesn't automatically re-roll everything.
Yeah, it definitely asks you. Oh my god.
Well, good news, everyone.
Oh my god.
So
it was going fine, and then I made it worse.
Well.
So here's what happens. You extend the shields and bolster the structural integrity fields of the touchstone.
ELH, it was also a success overall. I just want to remind you of this.
Oh, I know. So you contain the warp core breach, at least for the time being. But here's where the complications come into mind. Because as you're containing the warp core breach via your extended power and extended shields, that's when the touchstone experiences a shift. Everyone is now aware of a white void after the kaleidoscope of colors. You're aware of a white void, touchstone where it is, a planet below, and Showa Station at the relative position it was to the touchstone before the shift occurred. None of your equipment is working, but you can at least see visually the planet below.
The whole station, all of us, we all shifted?
Yes.
I have some bad news.
I don't think we should let Fakai on the ship.
I thought you said you could do this.
I did, but so many people were helping me. It made me nervous.
When really it was me helping you that actually tanked it.
It's just like that scene from Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, son. Big eyes.
Also, it occurs to me that since chat has just given you momentum, you have 2 momentum if you want to create the advantage that some part of an equipment works.
Yes, please.
Yes, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah.
What equipment do you want to have work?
Whatever the science people need to work.
I need something
Yes.
a little bit more specific.
Would it be our advanced
that
sensor
device I was working on.
Yeah, whatever you're using to build the thing that I gave you at a possibly short amount of time to do.
All right,
So
so
your
let
equipment.
me ask Takaldi then. Do you want sensors or do you want computers?
I'm going to go with sensors.
Okay, so your sensors are working in ops. That's the only station, only thing you can access at the moment. But you have full sensors available to you.
Okay.
And that'll
Then-
cost you your 2 momentum to make that advantage.
And yeah, full sensor sweep going on right now to figure out where the heck we are.
All right, let's get you some momentum. Reason science for you. Difficulty of, well, it was a 3. So difficulty of 2. The station is sensor science. All right, well, we already have the 2. Hopefully the station does not complicate things even further.
If it does, it just hates us at this point.
Well, who wants to roll for the station is the question. There we go. Okay. No, we're good. You get a momentum. Good.
If I
job,
got
Showa
another 20, then I was definitely done rolling for it.
Yeah, I
right.
rolled a 20 already. Don't want to.
So Takaldi, as you scan the planet below, you also notice the fact that it's shifting from protoplanet to prehistoric to contemporary to civilized to advanced civilized, and then the loop repeats. You're basically getting the equivalent of every satellite transmission Earth has ever sent out in terms of information, where it's coming out in large bursts. And in fact, since you were thinking about it and you have testing a theory and all those sorts of talents, the burst of information, if it were to be condensed into a single beam, might be something similar to a chronoton lance.
What have they done?
Is so I get so the 2 questions, right?
You get 2 free questions. Yep.
Okay. First question: are the sensors able to identify the life form on this planet?
They are a humanoid species that has deer-like antlers on their head and a forehead ridge that is similar to a Klingon's, but it's also kind of mixed with the Denobulans, so kind of a forehead ridge that kind of comes around the side.
Okay.
But they are a species unknown to your databases.
Okay.
Is this on the full planet or the protoplanet?
You are basically seeing the entire evolutionary history of this species. So
Okay.
from protoplanet to their Neanderthal stage, to their civilized stage, to their advanced civilized, and then it repeats.
Apparently, to where they destroyed themselves with the time.
Yeah, that I think is going to be the second question: is am I able to determine that very last second before the reset happens, what is happening on the planet?
So it does appear that they were experimenting with faster-than-light technology. I mean, you're seeing things like gravity manipulation, space elevators, technologies that would lead to faster-than-light travel, or at least contemporary spaceflight. But they were doing so with chronotons. And as you found out, when you mess with chronotons and you don't do it in the right way, you get what's happened.
All right.
So relay this information to Callahan.
I suppose there's no way to tell them to cut it out.
Have to somehow interrupt the flow. It might be possible to do that, Commander.
Yeah, if we
Yes,
prevent them
it-
from ever being able to use chronotons or convince them to use something else.
Well, if we could find a way to communicate, like we know what we're allowed to make first contact.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lean over to Shishista. We don't have a temporal prime directive yet, do we?
It sounds like that's something that has occurred by the time of the Kurosawa, but not as of yet.
I wonder if we did it.
That sounds like not an us problem.
Yes.
Can't prove otherwise.
Well, I'd rather be judged by a board than let the touchdown obliterate and have this keep happening. So,
Well, it seems certainly not good for the people of this planet either.
no. And say suggestions. What can be done that isn't, just destroying the place?
Well, and question, real quick, the Kurosawa, when they switch over, are they also not noticing the switch, or are they actually noticing it?
No, they are completely unaware of the switch on
Okay.
both ships at the moment.
I was going to say
Touchstone is with us right now.
Data's head situation, but if they
No,
can't
it's one of those things where if you were to try to hail or scan the touchstone that's frozen with you, because again, you've got your shields and a beam encircling the touchstone, you would get that they are completely frozen right now.
Interestingly enough, we are not.
Well, we are partial. We only have certain things that are working. This has definitely affected us.
It may be a little risky, but is it possible to try and physically have something reach the planet when we're on this side? If we sent them a message in a bottle as of sorts.
Everything seems to be shut down. How would we be able to reach them?
No, if
Plus-
we just push it out.
Yes, but with how much
Open
it
a
goes...
door and throw it.
Yes, but by the time the bottle hit the planet, the person who found it, it would be their great granddaughter would be the one who would be reading it.
Presumably, that's what we would want, though, isn't it? We'd want it to get there when they're actually starting to work with the technology. And aside from that, I'm guessing, and Bakoya, you can correct me on this, but I imagine once it would reach the planet's surface, it would acclimate to the flow of time.
Yeah, I'm guessing I could try to jerry-rig something with the knowledge we've kind of deemed so far, but
Question for
again, I
ELH.
don't know how I would build it without any moving tech at the moment.
I have an answer for Rocket.
Yes. So the station isn't
Mhm.
working. Everything's shut down. Does that mean everything mechanical within the station, such as the worker bees?
If
would
you were
any
to
of
literally
those be
open things physically, because if you remember, Vokaya could actually open up things on the shuttle and take components out. So yes, if you were to go down to your favorite Tellarite on the promenade and mess with his shop, that would all happen. But if you were to go to the Ferengi brothers and try to mess with their accounts, you couldn't do that because the technology isn't working there.
Okay, but physical stuff we can move around and interact with.
Correct. I like chat's suggestion.
Yeah,
You've got their info. Have the Universal Translator rig up a big space billboard that says, "Could you not?"
Stop it.
Try this instead. It's better.
Well, they're literally like, and the other two ships their tech isn't just frozen; they're frozen too, right?
We are not.
Yep, you are not.
Chakald's thinking anti-chronotons right now. That's
I
That's
guess so.
we just blanket the area anti-chronotons so they can't form their chronoton problems.
Alright. When we phase back, I feel like we need to disconnect ourselves from the touchstone. Otherwise, we will have half the time because we'll be spend half of it with all of our things shut down.
Now, real quick, do you actually want to push something out and give it to the planet?
Not
Because
in
I
this
actually
order.
kind of like Shishi's idea, but
Sure.
Say, do
Well,
it.
they're moving so fast that even if it takes a long time to get there, will it really?
I mean, what's the worst that happened? It's not like they're going to remove another. Oh, wait. Yeah, send it. Do it.
all right. So let's be very clear. What is the message or information you are sending in a time capsule?
I'm assuming like
Stop.
information about chronotons messing with time. Would that be correct, Commander?
And just to be clear, you either have to write this information on like paper, or you have
People
to
still do that. Come on.
you know, it's again, nothing technological
Chalk.
except sensors work. So any information you send has to be physical. It cannot be electronic.
Chronotons, just say no.
You're assuming they'd understand what we're writing down.
Yeah.
There's a universal translator that we can send.
Well,
Let's
to
send
call me.
a little.
What about sending something like alternative fuel source? Like here's a dilithium crystal, sort of thing.
So Vokaya and Takaldi, as you mentioned that, you did just translate an elephant's language, an elephant alien's language. You would
was
know
fun.
that based on your experience with the Universal Translator, you're basically getting the entire history of the planet before they go kaput. If you feed that to the Universal Translator, it should know its language back to front.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, in that case, we would also have information about what leads up to the development of the technology that they're using the chronotons with, and maybe we could address something specific to that.
Yep.
That works. It's worth a shot.
She's like, hang on. She's like trying to write. My pen's not.
The ink won't come out.
Yeah. This pen's on.
No, you have to dip it first, sir. You have to no.
Oh, that's what that's for.
Why'd I use a mechanical pencil? My God.
You're just lucky that Roz still had some of these left on the station from Earth.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, as far as the elephant adventure, just send down one of the books of the Italian hand sign language.
Go through all of that again. Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, we sum up. I'm guessing that statement.
Okay.
And like you said, we're writing it down like physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In
And
their
then
language.
boxing it up, I'm guessing in some kind of torpedo-like unit.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
next question is, are you pushing it out in a worker bee, in a shuttle, in a torpedo casing?
Fukuya asked Shishi, is there like manual overrides for the torpedo?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Send it. It's probably the fastest, easiest way and most accurate.
I'm assuming we can disarm them,
Yes.
Yes.
so we don't just shoot the planet with a torpedo.
that would defeat the entire
You're-
purpose of putting something in the torpedo if it was just going to explode on it.
Surprise!
Nice.
You don't mention it though. It's better to mention it than forget.
Yes.
All right. Well, what I would say is you send your message and it comes time for the switch to happen again. You pop back into reality. And what you notice is that the warp core breach has actually stopped on the touchstone. And in fact, half of the missing saucer section has returned. And in fact, as you watch, it seems to be phasing back in before your very eyes.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Does this mean we're on the right path to fixing it? It's giving us that little serotonin helpful boost.
Making sure sensors are taking a full recording of that.
Ship
Yeah.
says, "You did it. Good job."
But yeah, I think you're going to get a hail from Tavin at this point. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
there's the complication from chat. Knew it. So
Ah!
you're going to get the hail from Tavin, and Tavin says, did we just experience another time shift? Because I am seeing my ship repair itself, at least on my end.
You did. We actually got phased with you, Captain, and we found the source of the time issue, the planet that is in there in the future. They're experimenting with near light speed travel using chronotons.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
Yes, it is.
We have used the universal translator to get their language, and we will be sending them a message to please literally use anything else. Literally anything else is preferable to this.
Well, are your sensors seeing what our sensors are seeing?
About what?
That depends. What are your senses seeing?
And he literally points up, and we have a dramatic view of the exterior of the station with the touchstone, and then we pan the camera up, and we see just this giant saucer similar to the what we see in the very first episode of TNG, where it's kind of that big old UFO thing floating above the station.
Huh. What is that? Report.
It looks like a plate.
Well, Takaldi, I have good news for you. That seems to be designed by the species you just communicated with.
Oh, good. Let's
Hail
open
them.
it. Let's open a channel.
Yes, I'm open a channel and be like, hello, this is Commander Callahan, captain of the space station Showa. Please identify yourself.
So appearing on screen is, again, those antlered, ridged foreheads and sides of face aliens, and they say, my name is Captain Amon, and on behalf of the Federation, oh, sorry, you call yourselves the Federation, the Council, I think would be a good word to use. On behalf of the Council, I would like to thank you for correcting us from destroying ourselves.
Well, I am very happy that you are not destroyed, and it looks like our ships caught in that are slowly getting fixed as well.
Yes, we did receive your message, and it took some of our scholars many, many years to decipher its true meaning, and there was quite a lot of theological debate about whether this was a message from a higher power. But I can assure you that although we are still traveling the wrong direction in time, hence why we are able to appear before you like this, we will be able to not destroy your vessels in the process.
Well, I'm saddened that you and I will never get to converse since I feel we are at completely different timelines, but we will make records of this so that at some point our peoples can have an actual meeting.
Very good. And again, on behalf of the Council, thank you. And the view screen cuts out.
Quick question.
Oh, yes.
Is that what they are called as a people, the council, or do they have a fun name? I'm just curious.
What's the name, GM?
Yeah, the thing is, when I generated the name, it was one of those, hey, it looks good on paper, but I have no fucking idea how to say it. I'll make an attempt.
The best ones.
Their name is the Ferlan. So it's like Ferlain. So Ferlain maybe would be better.
Fabergé, got it.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a deer people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, as your conversation finishes, that flying saucer sort of phases out of reality. And after a moment, the touchstone is completely repaired.
Are we still on your
Hey.
side? Or are we
So-
back in our space?
Yeah, you're back in your space. You're back where you should be.
Excellent.
And we haven't
was
seen the
hoping they just-
Kurosawa in a while, right?
Like leave us, yeah.
No, Kurosawa is overdue for coming back, so it seems like the time oscillations have stopped.
Oh, thank goodness. Commander, we should put a note about this particular captain, so that perhaps in time, this person will never receive a command.
It's we must not match racism with racism, Shishista.
It's not racism. It's about this person individually, very specifically.
You have had multiple disagreements with Tellarites. It's beginning to become a disturbing pattern. Please,
What?
Please, course
one
correct
on-
behavior or counseling will have to be done.
The one who sells the things, we get along famously.
Shishi, I'm
Practically
spending
best
chat's
friends.
complication that it occurs to you that the way the nose was shaped on Captain Taffarel, it's a long shot, but maybe the great grandson of Wham, your favorite Tellarite on the station.
Oh my. Commander, permission to be excused.
If you need to talk about it, Commander,
Yes.
come talk to me. Yes, come on. It's okay. I'm here for you.
I do think it's funny that these two Tellarites have a dislike for, ironically, the same.
They probably have stories passed down. I need to go stop him before I can get to this.
Or is this going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy? You're not excused. I'm gonna hail the touchdown, Captain. How are you all doing on that end?
We're seeing no damage whatsoever, and all our crew is accounted for, so we are requesting that we do have a little bit of layover to make sure everything is 100%, but I believe there's no need for repair work at this juncture.
Yes, I believe what your crew has gone through, they could use a little bit of liberty and rest.
Very good. Then I would like to submit a formal request for a Funland Place bowling tournament.
And say, granted, Shishista, you cannot harass Tellarites. You have work to do. We must defeat them.
There's only one that I'm interested in harassing, and it's on the way.
Yes, I need you focused.
And as the camera pulls out, I think that's where we're going to end this half session, and that's where we'll call a wrap on this adventure. So, I know it got a little confusing towards the end, but did you guys basically get that they're moving backwards in time while you're moving forwards kind of a thing there on the planet?
Yeah.
It definitely took longer for me to connect the dots on this one.
Yes.
The time stuff is, my brain tries so hard. I love it, but it's
Monkey brain
it's
doesn't like
mindfuck.
it.
Yeah, time stuff is always one of those things where either I feel like I never explain enough or I explain too much. So I apologize if at any point I was like shooting for the weeds.
No, I think it helps that, like, even if we're all confused, one of us is picking up on something that the other one isn't. Right?
Yeah, and I do want to commend Rockette that was a very novel solution.
Totally.
To push
Okay.
out something was a very novel solution.
I'm telling you, Data's head.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop it on the planet.
Cool.
And hope nobody else gets to it first.
And, wrong people get to it, and then, you have an entire religion spring about the Church of the Photon Torpedo. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
That
still
kinda,
better than a Chronoton genocide.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that kind of reminded me of a mashup between the Voyager trying to stop the those guys from dumping gamma radiation, as well as the I can't remember which the episode where they're atop that planet that's like spinning, right?
That's spinning
Space-
real fast, and they are
Yeah.
experiencing time. Yep, that's
But they're, like,
exactly
caught
the
in the orbit.
inspiration. Yep.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like a mashup of those two. It was very cool.
Yep. In fact, that was my direct inspiration watching those two episodes. So there you
Awesome.
go.
Nice.
All right. Well, before Rockette tears a Tellarite a new one, this is where I'm going to end the recording. So YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.